so I can get better next time.
As Jonathan said, I'm an analyst at Altura. Elliot Alvarez is here with me. He's an associate principal, and we're going to be talking to you about how you can get more value out of your warranty phase. Okay, so let's see a show of hands. Who loves warranty phase? Oh, okay, yay! Yay, I'm not alone. Yeah, normally not too many people are excited about warranty phase, but we're going to be talking to you about how you can arrange your commissioning team to be more effective and efficient, how you're going to structure the cadence in your meetings to find and diagnose issues efficiently, and how then you're going to be able to illustrate the benefits of this method to the other stakeholders and most importantly to your owners so that you can earn more money.
Yeah, so I think we'll first start with a little bit of context setting about maybe why a lot of folks didn't raise their hands, of like why the warranty phase is not great right now. And it's a shame because the warranty phase is like, for new construction commissioning, right? This is like obviously dedicated to that, is like where all of this effort that we put into this building is actually going to go and do its job as a building, right? Like we build buildings to be occupied, not just to like make it through the construction period. And so the warranty phase is like when it's actually being used, but it's not really a great spot for that. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. The first of those is that in the first year of occupancy, like we are guaranteed to have seasons and occupants, two things that we did not have during the construction phase. And so because of that, we are guaranteed to have issues. Like there are issues that you could not have seen during the construction phase, no matter how good of a job you did, because it's winter now and you tested during the summer. And because there's occupants in there and they're doing things that the designers from 3 years ago didn't really think about. And so there's guaranteed to be new issues, and like those are going to be stressful, right? So how we deal with those is kind of what we're going to be talking about. The other reason why it's maybe not that great is because the contractors are almost always like out of town, right? Contractors are paid usually to just build buildings, not to like hang out for the first year and like chill with the building and like try to get it to work as they can. Most GCs don't have a warranty budget at all. All the stuff they're doing during the warranty period is just on goodwill and just for reputation, so that they can win the next job. But nobody really like saves money in their budget to kind of go and do that. So like the contractors are disincentivized to kind of like not be there and like try to help you out. The third kind of reason is like maybe a little bit more macro, like a little bit more societal. It's that we are often in the warranty phase solving problems that we've seen before, but that our design partners are just continuing to like propagate in their designs. And that's because the designers don't typically get to work with buildings, in the occupancy phase either. Right? Like I used to do design work, and like I would see a drawing set leave my office, and I would do some site visits, but then like that was essentially it, right? So like I was never really able to close the feedback loop with like, oh, the way I designed a pump station here was a terrible idea. I shouldn't do that anymore, right? We're just kind of missing that feedback. And lastly, and probably most importantly, is like our operators, who are the ones who are in charge of making this building work. They're dealing with like a lot of stuff during that first year. And they've got a new building, maybe they've already got 3 other buildings that they're trying to manage, and this new building's fancy, it's got all these heat pump chillers, I don't know what the deal with those are. And they're trying to get it so that their occupants aren't yelling all the time. And they're just stressed out. So like the inability of our our team, no matter how good of a job we do, right? Like with a really well-documented O&M manuals or sequence of operations, there's still going to be stuff that pops up, and our operators are going to be stressed out because of that. And so that stress just kind of like works its way through. They start blaming everyone. They just don't even commissioned yet. Was this designer like doing something? Like it's just a stressful time. So hopefully, like, Ingrid's going to walk us through like what we've seen from like projects and like lessons learned to help kind of like address these issues.
Great. So first thing we're going to talk about is the team for warranty phase. This is going to be a different way of arranging your warranty phase team. We'll start with a commissioning group. We like to bring in a person to act as the warranty phase PM. This is not the PM from design and construction. Any idea why that might be? Raise your hands. Yes.
Kind of clear the air.
Yeah, so by the time you get to the end of construction, a lot of times the people who have been working on this building for the past couple years are like so over it. They don't want to see it again. They don't want to think about it again. They want to move on to their next project. So we bring in a new warranty phase PM with fresh eyes, fresh energy, and kind of revive that spirit of we can do it. Now we're not going to lose all that technical knowledge that our construction and design project manager gained over those years of blood, sweat, and tears. We're going to move them into the role of technical subject matter expert, and this allows us to keep hold of that that knowledge and this is why this was done this way, but still frees them up to move on to their next project, and they just get called back in as needed for some of the more difficult issues. Finally, Altura likes to round out our group with an analytics support person. Now, not everyone has this on their team, and it's not necessarily appropriate for every project, but we are heavy on analytics, so we'll talk more about this in future slides. Now, the owner's team a lot of times has kind of two different components to it. There's the facilities group and the operators, and this is kind of the people who are usually left holding the bag when we get substantial completion, and they're like, okay, I've got this thing, now what do I do with it? We're not providing that structure and support to get them to really understand the building from the get-go. And then there's also the real estate group, the construction group. A lot of times they're like, we got substantial completion, I'm all done, I can go sit on the beach and drink margaritas. No, you're gonna stay here and you're gonna be part of our group, and you're gonna help drive the general contractor and make sure all our warranty issues get noted by them. The general contractor, a lot of times they also bring in a new person, not the person who was with them through construction, but usually a junior person, and that's just fine. As long as they have the support and structure needed to support their general contractor PM, that's okay. The main goal of the general contractor is going to be driving these subcontractors and making sure that they get sent out to issues, address issues quickly and efficiently. And then finally, we like to close out our team with the designer, as Elliot said earlier. There's a broken feedback loop in the industry, but by having this person as part of the team, then we can start to close that loop. Now, that is a pretty big team. Like, that's a lot of people. And you might be saying, how am I going to get all these people to be part of this team? Like, they don't want to be part of it. But the truth is, these people are all already part of your warranty team. They're just part of it in the least efficient way possible. So instead of chasing people down and playing phone tag and email tag, let's get them all together, say, you're gonna be part of this team, these are our expectations for you, and this is how we're going to move forward, and it's gonna be better for you in the long run. All right, so like I said previously, Altura loves analytics. That's like my favorite. And there's lots of ways to get data and analytics. Whether that's trend review, whether it's automatic fault detection, whether it's a dashboard or what have you. This is a great way to find issues, start troubleshooting issues, and then as we see here, oh look, our issue's been resolved. Let's see, sorry. So one thing we do want to note is that ongoing analytics provides data, but it doesn't provide that wraparound care that those operators need in order to really efficiently take over this building at the beginning year or two. So we need to be conscious of that. If you give most operators these, these graphs, they're gonna be like, all right, great, now I've got graphs. But what we need is to show them what these mean.
Yeah, I think there's, sorry, but like there's also like a lot of, like in the Venn diagram of like monitoring-based commissioning, which is becoming more popular with like lead now, analytics just kind of like has something cool, warranty phase stuff, right? Like there's a fair amount of overlap in those topics, but it's not all the same thing. They're not synonymous. We've got the rectangle square situation around here. Michelle's in the audience here. She'll be talking a little bit about some of this tomorrow, in terms of like the ways that monitoring-based commissioning can like succeed and fail as deployment if you're not really like conscious about what you're doing with that. Like Ingrid said, you put up that graph on the upper left-hand corner there, and people are gonna be like, great. I don't really know what that means, right? You have to provide a little bit more to it than just like the graph is something, right? Like you have to do something with it.
So that graph is actually of my dampers on a building in Virginia. My home office is in San Diego. I can sit at home, pull up this data, and look and say, you know what, I think we need to direct the team towards tuning dampers, because that's a lot of efficiency that we could be wasting there. Something's not going right. So this transparent data that everybody can access and everybody can see, it really helps drive my impact as a commissioning agent. Okay, so data is one way to get issues, but it's not the only way to get issues. And what we're doing with this team is we want to empower everyone on the team to bring up new issues that they discover. Remember, our goal is to build or to deliver a building that works, not just get out of there and go home and drink margaritas on the beach. But there's lots of different sources of issues, and you might be thinking, well, I've got an issues log, I know how to use an issues log, but it's more than that. How does your issue log handle BMS alarms or hot and cold calls? Or what if an operator discovers something as they're doing their quarterly preventative maintenance? How are they going to put that into your issues log? Instead, what you need is one unified system that allows everybody to put their issues in here, and if they need to put a note that says Maximo work order 1712 or whatever, put it in here, but everybody can access this issue log, everybody can see what's going on, everybody knows how to open an issue, attach files, document something that they've done, etc.
Yeah, and you know, Ingrid, like that little graphic there is like modeled off of like a Trello board, which is one that we've used. But like the platform doesn't really matter that much, right? If you've got an overview that has issues log that like everyone can have access to, you can do what Ingrid just said, and then we should use it. But like the typical first kind of like meeting of the warranty phase is like, what is our platform? Everyone argues about it for a while, but like it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong answer, just as long as everyone's bought into it and like has a transparent tracking tool, that's the main point, right? Not if you're gonna say like Maximo's awesome or Trello's awesome or you know one of the vendors out there is better than the other. Just as long as everyone's on the same page, that's really the most important part.
Yeah. And one thing you do want is whatever tracking system you use, if a card is updated, I'm calling them cards, but the issue is updated, then it needs to send out an automatic email to the folks who are attached to that card or who are tagged on that card. That way that helps with the asynchronous work that we're going to get to in future slides. Okay. Now we've got our transparent tracking system. Everybody knows how to use it. Everybody's in it and using it. But what we need next is a place for everyone to come together and discuss the issues, prevent issues from occurring, or make sure that we're looking in the correct place. As Elliot said previously, you know, if you're coming into summertime, are we looking in the right place? So if it's going to be, in our meetings we do that with our agenda. We start with the weather. If it's going to be 95 degrees and 95% humidity, well, let's make sure if this is the first heat wave of the year that our cooling system is capable and is on track to address that. I've had one building where our cooling towers were having a hard time with makeup water, and there were a number of red herrings as to why we couldn't fulfill the makeup water requirements of the cooling towers during these hot months. But because we knew this, and because we were looking at this and anticipating these heat waves that were coming up, we were able to, we ran a hose into the cooling tower basin to make sure that we had enough makeup water until we figured out what was the problem and why the piping wasn't delivering the water that it was supposed to. Okay. Next, we're going to move to upcoming work. For example, if your buildings had building pressurization issues, and so you've got some overrides on the air handling units, and the facility team says, hey, we're going to be installing air curtains on Thursday night, just so you guys know. Well, then does that mean that we can take some of those overrides off the AHUs and see how they perform? Can we put them back in auto and continue troubleshooting this? Did that resolve our issue, or is there more digging that we need to do? Then we get into new issues. New issues are not just warranty issues. They're pretty much any issues. Because a lot of times you have to do some digging and some investigation before you figure out, is this a warranty issue, or is this that the building users are using the building in unexpected ways? So it still goes into our tracker, and then we triage those new issues. Is this something urgent? Is it something that we can have a lower priority for? And then we assign a responsible party. Finally, the biggest part of our meetings is when we go over these ongoing issues. This is the time where, say you've got a clear warranty issue with the VFDs, and the manufacturer is unresponsive to the mechanical controls contractor. Well, how can we come together as a team and remove those blockages? Can we get the owner to maybe reach out through a back channel to the manufacturer and say, hey, I'm building 15 buildings this year, and if you can't provide me a VFD that works in this one, and my mechanical contractor has been contacting you for a month now and still no response, well, maybe I'll think about that when I go to build my next 19 buildings. Maybe I don't want to use your piece of equipment. Or, the designer might have the same thing, might have the same back channels where they can reach out to the manufacturer and say, our design firm generally recommends your piece of equipment, but if you're not going to be responsive to this mechanical contractor and address this warranty issue, then maybe we won't be recommending you so much anymore. So that really helps push issues along and come together as a team. Finally, we talk about process updates. In I think it's the next slide, we're going to talk about why you would need process updates, but that's how we close out our meetings. And then these are the people that are in our meetings. Now, we have that big, huge slide with all the people in it before. We don't need everyone to be in every meeting. If there's nothing that the lighting controls contractor needs to be involved in, then they don't need to come to the meeting. But this is kind of our core group. We've got our commissioning agent, the owner, the general contractor, and the facilities team. The facility team and the operators are super important because they are our eyes and ears on the ground. And say we have an issue that we've started troubleshooting it, we think it might be a design issue. If we can bring the designer in and have them talk directly to the operators about what was the intent of this design, and the operators can provide feedback directly on, well, this is what we're seeing, we're doing what you said to do, and this stuff just doesn't work. That really helps to drive issues to resolution. And that's kind of one of my jobs as the warranty phase PM, is to make sure that everybody has a voice in these meetings and everybody has an equal voice. Nobody gets to be like, well, I'm so fancy, and nobody can be like, well, nobody's going to listen to me because my nails are dirty. We need to make sure that everybody's got a voice, everybody's got an equal say, and this is a place where we can bring this up and resolve issues. All right, so warranty phase is 12 months. And there's a lot that we need to do during this time. You know, we start off over here where there's still maybe some lingering construction issues. By the end of it, by year 2, day 1, operations team needs to feel comfortable taking this building, operating this building the way it was designed to operate, not just putting in overrides. So, the first 6 weeks or so, the team is going to be incredibly busy cleaning up that construction resolution, any lingering issues. Then, sorry, I'm a little nervous. So we've got our construction issues that we're resolving there, and the team is coming together. This is, you know, we've got people moving into the building users coming in and creating, excuse me, uncovering problems, you know, that weren't apparent during construction.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Ingrid touched on it on the previous slide with, you know, kind of the team and talking about kind of like managing that team. And like, you know, actually just been talking about this for like the last 15 minutes here. It's like, a lot of what we're talking about here is just like PM, like excellence, right? Like just doing like the soft skills of like managing a team. And which is like noteworthy of like that I think is the real value here. I think like you know, in commissioning, there are certain commission providers who kind of position themselves, and certain people are like very good at kind of the I'm the expert, I know how to solve this problem technically. Like, don't use this thing, use this thing. I've seen this 10 times before. You want to do this in that situation. And there's other folks who lean more into the commission's process. We're doing this together as a team. The people who are going to be most successful leading this type of work are more of the project managers, soft skill folks. Because it's a lot of it is just bringing the team together to work on these issues. Right? I think the more that you like lean into that and like recognize that is the skill that like the value that we're bringing to this, and then put the right people in place to do that. That's going to make this successful. And like this first kind of like 6 weeks here is where so much of that like norm setting happens, right? Like that's your chance to be like, you got a new PM. It's not the kind of like grumpy person who was on this, we got tired of it, we're going to start this fresh, like here we go. And like this is, those first 6 weeks is where you set the stage for like how to execute for like the rest of the 10 months.
Yeah, so I'm just going to hop up onto my soapbox here because I've got a few things that I think it's really important that we set correctly and figure out during these first 6 weeks. The first one, like I said before, with the issues log, everyone needs to know how to go to the issues log, add a new issue, or respond to an existing issue without making a new issue. Everyone needs to know how to upload a photo or a file or a screenshot, or maybe it's a cut sheet that's going to help us diagnose this issue or do some root cause analysis. And you might think, oh, okay, yeah, that's easy. But this sometimes takes quite a bit of one-on-one teaching and training. It might take a couple one-on-one sessions with somebody before they feel comfortable using whatever system it is that you're using. But this effort is very, very important, and it pays back in huge dividends as you get further along in the in commissioning, in warranty phase. Second issue, soapbox issue, is if you think there's a faulty actuator on the heating hot water supply valve, don't wait until the meeting to bring it up. You need to make your comments in the issues log before the meeting. Nobody wants to hear in the meeting about how you walked up to the roof and you saw this and you, no. Just put your observations in the issues log. Our meetings go really, really quickly, and we do not have time to hear your story about walking up to the roof. Nobody has time for that. Okay, so that's something that you're going to want to get across to the rest of the team. Next. Yeah.
Do you guys isolate like the functional testing issues and everything else from these warranty discussions, or is it a one line matrix all of it, or how do you treat that?
it's like pretty much everything, because a lot of times you aren't really sure if something's a warranty issue until after you've dug into it a little bit more. So that's something that this enhanced warranty phase does, is it provides not just warranty stuff, but it also gets into operations, optimization, and support on that operator training piece, which we'll come to in a little bit.
Yeah, I think more explicitly, like we use a different platform for the construction phase, for the warranty phase, just because of this need for multimodal input across all these different stakeholders. So like our construction issues, like if they aren't closed out during the kind of construction phase, right, so the rest of the lingering things, like what's up with that fan coils, T-stat type of thing, we may have to carry through those logs for a little bit, but like eventually we want to get into one consistent, right? Eventually you place the T-stat, don't have to worry about that anymore.
All right, and then this happened on one warranty phase that I was involved in. You'd come to the meeting and maybe the designer had an action item that they needed to review the trends and, dig into some root cause analysis, give their feedback. Nobody wants to see the designer pull up the trends and look at them for the very first time in the meeting. We don't have time for that. You gotta do your homework before the meeting. So this is kind of where I come in with a little bit of knife hand at people and get everybody, to understand the expectations. Next, the most efficient way to drive progress might not be everybody stays in their own lane. And this can take some convincing, especially for like the operators. The facility engineer might say, well, my folks are really busy running the building. They don't have time to go look at this thing or look at that thing. But if we can get a facility operator to go up and look at that potentially faulty actuator and take a picture of it and upload the photo today to the issues log, then that's going to be so much better and more efficient than if we wait 3 days for the contractor to come out and bring their person on site and roll, do their stuff, get an escort up to the roof, and so on and so forth. Instead, what we need to do is, normally everyone hoes their row, but if you can help in somebody else in their row, then jump over their help, because that's going to come back to you. The sooner we figure out what's going on with the AHUs, the sooner we can address the issues with the VAVs, the sooner you'll stop getting hot and cold calls or hot calls every afternoon saying that these spaces are too hot. So let's everybody work together. It might not just be it might be a warranty issue, but we can still get the facility folks to help out with this.
There's usually a point in the project where like you come to the point where someone says, I don't want to touch that, because then now I own it. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the point, right? Like that's kind of, oftentimes we see operators being like, I'm not quite sure if I want to start adjusting things or like maybe tweaking the sequence a little bit or whatever. And I think that, kind of like the soft skills of being able to bring the team together and say, like, look, our joint goal here is to get the building to work well, kind of like helps alleviate that. I think the other way that helps alleviate that is that we've got all of this documentation all over the place to say, like, what was it before and like what was the changes that was made, so it becomes less of an issue for our operators to feel nervous about kind of like adjusting things.
Yep. And then finally, during the 6-week period, as Elliot touched on before, one of the keys is we're establishing the norms not just for our warranty period, but also for the operations team moving forward. Like, I don't remember who it was, I'm sorry, said during lunch, this commissioning and construction is only a short period, but this building might last for 50, 80 years. If we can establish that culture of overrides are not how we operate this building, that is a temporary thing, not how we just business as usual. If we can establish that culture and that norm from the very beginning with the operators, then this building is going to be more efficient across its whole life.
And I think one thing we've seen work pretty well for that is like they like the number of overrides that are on a building and make that not like something that's scary. Right? If you see overrides on a building, that means that the operators are having to do something to respond to something in the field. That means they need assistance by someone to solve that for me. Right? So like don't treat overrides as like this thing that like people are gonna keep secret and we've got all these overrides everywhere. Like, run a report on your BAS or something like that to kind of like allow you to visualize what are the overrides and treat that as a joint metric and everyone can be like, it's everyone's job to get that done.
Yep. All right. Now, so that first 6 weeks is pretty intense. Going on to the next 3 months, we reduced the meeting frequency to about every other week. This is the time when you're going to see like a kind of a blooming of issues. Lots of new issues are found during this time, and you might only get through the highest priority issues in your meetings, and that's okay. Remember, your issues log is going to, if there's an update or a note made, it's going to email the people who are tagged in that issue, and so they'll get that reminder like, hey, you need to be doing something with this, and that helps encourage that asynchronous coordination between meetings. Commissioning agent is still driving that asynchronous work for those lower priority issues that don't get addressed during the meetings. You might need to schedule some smaller breakout groups. In the issue card, say breakout group to be scheduled by so-and-so, including these folks, so that it's not a big mystery of like, well, I thought so-and-so was gonna schedule a meeting, and a month has passed and nothing has happened. Instead, let's log that on the card so that we've got that accountability and follow-up. Okay, we're also during this time going to be talking to the operators and helping them understand how they should be documenting issues. When they first start creating issues, you might have AHU1 trips continuously. That is not very helpful when you're trying to find a root cause. Instead, we're going to encourage the operators and the other folks on the team that, hopefully by the end of 12 months, their AHU1 trips continuously, they're going to be inputting it something more like AHU1's supply fan 3 VFD tripping for unknown reasons, trip seen on these dates, fault code, whatever shown on the VFD, see the attached photo. This causes AHU1 to trip 2 minutes later on low static pressure, request mechanical contractor investigate. So by encouraging them to have a deeper and fuller annotations and documentations, that's going to make it so much easier for the mechanical contractor when they do come out, and especially once they get past the warranty period, when they're calling out folks to come address this. It's going to be less expensive if they can give the mechanical contractor, here's all the things that we've tried, here's what we've done, here's the issue. That's going to make it more efficient for the mechanical contractor and hopefully less expensive for the owner. All right. And then we're getting into the last 6 months. By this part, we should be making some real progress on those real high priority issues. People are getting into the swing of things. Now, one thing you've got to be careful with in this last 6 months is that people need to be driving progress forward, not just in the 3 days before the meeting. So the warranty phase PM on the commissioning agent is going to be reviewing the data, reviewing the cards weekly, and making notes and updating them. Again, that'll make automatic emails sent out to everyone on the card, and this encourages that asynchronous work. If you're seeing that, wow, the controls contractor has just, addressed 5 different issues that were on their plate, maybe I need to, look at my stuff too.
One thing that is maybe noteworthy on this slide is that we've made it to this point, not really emphasizing seasonal retests that much, but like that is part of like what is typically purchased in the hands of warranties and some sort of seasonal retest. I think hopefully the amount of other things we're talking about kind of like re-emphasizes there's like a lot more kind of like value and issue and work to be done other than just like coming back to the building 10 months later, looking at the graphics and being like, yeah, it seems maybe okay, right? Like there's a lot more to this than just like going and redoing your test. Like that should be part of your process here. You should be reviewing your tests as part of this, finding issues again in a different season, but that's not the only thing to accomplish.
So by the time we get to the end, you know, the owner's team and the facility team is going to be confident at creating new issues, or finding issues, taking those first steps of troubleshooting. They know when they need to call in outside help, or when it's something that they can handle in-house.
Okay, we're going to try to take us back to like our initial statements here. I also don't think I realized how many times we've said issues. How we actually said them, as it feels like we've got it on the screen here again, right? It's coming up next one too. So, like we said, we know that there's going to be new stuff that's coming. I think the trick with warranty phase is to recognize that, lean into that, and not be surprised by the fact that there's going to be new issues, and set up your teams to like triage those, to digest them, and start to get a little bit more proactive with that through some means and methods, right? Like whether that's through data-driven stuff, or whether that's just through like talking through what's happening next week, right? Like just try to get ahead of that and lean into trying to find those issues so that you can again reduce stress level. Once we do find those new issues, what Ingrid's talked through, all of the soft skills and all of the kind of like pure PM is like the ability to solve those efficiently, right? Like I think a large reason that folks don't like warranty phase is just because it's such an inefficient process at that point. Everyone's kind of like throwing the rope a little bit, so getting re-engaged on it is hard. Hopefully through like staying engaged on it, doing good proper documentation, doing good coordination with everybody on the team, we're able to do that much more efficiently, and actually like that's the whole point of commission, is to make the buildings work as good as we can. So like if we're able to do more with our time and solve them better, that's great. That's what we want. We want to increase our efficiency. And last, and like probably most importantly, this has been a very like operator-centric conversation today, is like again like helping our operators really feel empowered to take that building and make it work as best as they can. Providing them the resources to help them do that, not just saying good luck, but like being there along with them to kind of support them in so many different ways. Okay, so obviously Ingrid and I think warranty phase is great. Maybe people do that too. It's helpful to get paid to do that work. And so I want to maybe just talk through a few of the propositions, the value propositions that folks can use when like trying to think about adopting some of these approaches of getting paid to do this work. Just for context, like on our projects, warranty phase fees are between like 15 and 25% of our fees. It's like a lot, right? It's not like it's very people driven, right? So it's like a ton of PM time, so it's not like super high margin work, but it's also like not a substantial amount of money that we're spending on this. And the owners are currently willing to pay for it. The owners is the first kind of stakeholder that could be bought in or not bought in. I think the value proposition to stress for them is that they do the project management. Like Ingrid said, oftentimes the D&C folks on these real estate teams, they're off to the next one, just like everyone else in the team. But anybody who's savvy on these teams have enough battle scars to know that that's not great. And so for us to be able to say, we will be your project manager, we will help you address all of these issues that are going to come up, like they will be willing to pay for that. The next team is on the owner side, but on the facilities team now. Again, there's plenty of battle scars to go around here as well, right? Because they've inherited buildings that haven't been working super well. And so us being able to say, we'll be your training wheels, we'll be your support system, we'll give you an on-ramp to this building, is going to be really valuable to them as well. Oftentimes it's the D&C folks who are paying for budgets, like those who are paying for most of our use construction commission stuff, but the operations teams can influence that. The contractors not oftentimes paying our bills, but they are still a stakeholder that needs some addressing. And this one maybe seems like harder. Like, why would we assign it to people at work? Because essentially we're saying, we've said issues like 500 times, we're going to give you a bunch more of them. But in actuality, like, the contracting teams actually really appreciate this because they are super inefficient during this phase. The MO right now is that the operators will say, I got a problem with my fan club, that's it, like full stop. That's the information I give to you. The GC is there, and they're like, all right, I guess this is my problem now. Do I send my controls contractor, or do I send my mechanical contractor? Do I go look at it? The GC's poking their head above tile. They're like, that's a fan coil. What am I going to do next, right? Like, we can take that typical 3-week process of knowing what's going on and make that like a day of like, here's the problem, here's the data that shows it. You should fix this thing. Assign this to your controls contractor. Here's the thing, right? Like, the GCs love that because we're bringing them efficiency. Lastly, don't want to ignore our designer friends. They typically don't have that much influence over this, but again, like, even though they don't have influence, like, this is like a revelation to them, right? Like, having all of this information available to them, because they normally get called in for something that's hard, right? There's something that's maybe people don't feel like is good with their design. You may kind of like start from the ground zero, and instead we can give them kind of like, hey, we've tried easy option A, we've tried easy option B, we've tried medium hard option 1. I think you should go do this, and they're off to the races with that. We've got pretty big talent to show. So like they are able to stay focused on just the problem that they need to do rather than getting back around themselves.
All right, so we're hoping that, you know, after listening to this talk, you understand how to create your team, create your schedule, and create your process that's going to allow you to reap a bountiful harvest in the warranty phase. And if you have any questions, it's now time for questions.
All right, let's get the mic out.
Testing, there you go. Regarding this, is this something that you bake into your base proposal fee, or is this kind of pitched as net service project progresses? How do you handle that?
Good question. Depends on like what type of like contract we're going after. Right? If it's a competitive RFP and they haven't really called out warranty phase, then like it's a little tricky to be like, hey, increase your fees by a bunch to cover this, right? So there usually has to be a conversation, and like that's the kind of strategy you have to pick to kind of like figure out if you're gonna include that as part of your base fees or try to come out there and head off to it. I think no matter how you do it though, it's having a conversation with like people who are buying your services about essentially everything we just talked about here, right? Like, it's sometimes a little bit tricky with the people who are like super early design phases because they just maybe they don't have enough battle scars to really understand it. So like trying to find the right person on the owner side who's been through enough of these projects